Hey guys, let's start our first lesson for ecology today. We're going to go around the backgrounds and the beginnings of how ecology got to be a real important thing. It used to be nobody really cared about the environment. Now we know that they do. It's called the Green Revolution. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about, the beginnings of the Green Revolution, which led to the beginnings of having ecology as a real thing. All right, so we're starting on our webpage today. And you'll go from the web page to the ecology chapter, the ecology tab. Then roll down to chapter 1. And we're going to start the beginning of the discussions of ecology with the Lorax. Now that sounds kind of weird, but the Lorax is actually how one of the beginnings of the Green Revolution is written in 1971 with like the hippie movement, you know, the peace, love, and hugging trees and all that sort of stuff. That began in the 70s, and for the adults, we're going to learn when we do our notes, probably. For the adults, the Green Revolution in general is a response to all the crap that happened to the world during the Industrial Revolution. Okay, the Industrial Revolution was, you know, the factories, the smoke, all of this stuff. Industrial Revolution had its own bonuses. I mean, better types of living, you know, better quality of life and all that stuff. So the Industrial Revolution had its positive ends, but it had a heck of a lot of negative ends, and we are still 50 years later cleaning up after the Industrial Revolution. This is the Green Revolution. We're trying to get things back and under control for our planet. And so the Lorax, there were two books. For the adults, the book was Rachel Carson's Silent Spring. And it was published right there at the beginning of the Green Revolution. She was worried about DDT, which is a poison, and she was imagining what it would sound like one spring if there were no eagles left, no animals in the forest, no animals left. How silent would that spring be because the DDT was killing them all? And it was a very powerful book, and most of the adults in the 60s and 70s were reading this, and that's how they became involved in the Green Revolution. And they started passing laws and doing sit-ins and all sorts of things to try to handle the damage we've done to the earth. Now, all of those guys, all of the adults who were reading Silent Spring, they introduced the Green Revolution to their children using the Lorax. I was one of these children. Okay, my parents introduced me to the Green Revolution using the Lorax, and it is one of the best ways to get your head wrapped around what the Green Revolution actually, how deep and how important it is. So right here on this website, what I have for you first is I have the retro cartoon. I mean, the Read Aloud first. Let's look at that. I know it's babyish, but she will actually read you the textbook. So if you haven't read the Lorax yet, it's right here, and I need you to read it with her. I mean, not read it with her, but listen to her as she reads it to you. If you have a copy, that's great. If you have a copy, that's great. But if you don't have a copy, just read it with her as she goes through. And I'm sorry she talks like a baby, but read the book, okay, with her as she's going through. Then shortly after that, they created a cartoon, an old cartoon in the 70s, 60s and 70s that went through the book as well. And I want you to watch that video, okay? I was debating on whether or not I'd show it to you here in class. Still debating. All right, once you've gone to that, then I want you to come back here to the website. There are some questions here on this PDF that goes with the book and the cartoon, okay? It's here. All right, here's the video worksheet, okay? Questions like the job of the Lorax and all this stuff. You can answer these as you are watching the video. And down here is an epilogue. Now, what epilogue means is what happened next. All right, and for this page, I'm going to need you to finish the story, okay? What happened next? And for the details for this is I'm going to need 5 sentences, 5 good sentences, subject-verb agreement, proper grammar, periods, and 5 good long sentences, not 3-word sentences with descriptors. I mean, give me a good sentence. Tell me once you've read the book, hopefully it should make you feel a certain way. I am going for your feels today. All right? The book should make you feel a certain way. And once you've done that, write an epilogue. What happens next? Or what do you think will happen next? Okay? That's for after the video. Now, the story of the Lorax, the background of the story of the Lorax, Dr. Seuss was later in his life, he had hit a writer's block, okay? And he and his wife went to Africa on a safari to kind of clear his writer's block. And what they did was there was this park that had some beautiful little trees in it. And one of these, it has some little bitty sparse little trees that the truffula trees are based on. But it also had a great big, gigantic, beautiful tree that they had picnics under. You know, like the Tree of Life on the Disney, you know, that had the animals all carved in it. It was just beautiful, and this Tree of Life, and it was just amazing. And he and his wife, they had a picnic under it several times, and it was beautiful. And one morning he got up on his safari. He got up and he looked out the window, and they had cut down that big, beautiful tree. It broke his heart. I mean, this tree was amazing, and it broke his heart that they had cut down this tree. And they said that he was so moved that he wrote this book in about 3 days. Okay, what this book is, the Lorax comes out, and he tries to protect the forest from the people who are cutting down things. So he developed this book in response to the heartache he felt when they cut this tree down. But that's not all. Okay, the Lorax himself looks like a pretty funny little dude. All right, that big mustache and the big orange things. But what they believe is that Dr. Seuss based his book, The Lorax, or the character of the Lorax, on this monkey. All right, let me find the picture of the monkey. All right, this guy. Okay, he's called the Patus monkey. And they believe that based on how he feeds and how he acts in the forest, that Dr. Seuss used the Patus monkey for his character, the Lorax. And what we know now is the Patus monkey is now losing his trees. All right, so the whole idea of, I mean, he wrote this book in the 70s. All right, this is current. We finally figured out exactly. This is from the 2018, so it's pretty current. We found out exactly what monkey he was basing his character, the Lorax, on, and not only did we find out what it was, but that one is losing his trees just like the Lorax in the book. All right, so it's a big deal. This is the kind of thing that ecology and environmental science is going to be dealing with, is how do we protect these creatures. All right, so this is an article that's here on our webpage that you'll read through the article, and it has with it, that's one of Dr. Seuss's original drawings. It has a set of questions that go with it. Okay, and so let's go back to our webpage. So that's what we're going to do for our assignment today. All right, so you'll do the read aloud, watch the cartoon, and answer this retro worksheet. Then you're going to read the article, okay, and answer the questions that go with the article. Hopefully the movie's going to have you feeling some kind of something. I would love it if you let me know what you think about it afterwards. Okay? Thanks, guys. That's today's work. And stop recording.